Have you ever entered a crowded room, felt the hum of 100 conversations swirling around you, and wished for nothing more than to turn and walk away? It's not just discomfort, it's a deep, gnawing ache. A visceral knowing that you don't belong, even when you're surrounded by familiar faces. People are supposed to be social creatures, right? We're taught that connection is essential, that human interaction is the secret to happiness. But why then does it sometimes feel like your soul is being drained just by being in the presence of others? Sometimes it's not just about the crowd. It's about the expectations placed on us, the pressure to constantly engage, perform, and fit in. How many times have you been expected to smile and laugh when you just didn't feel like it? Or forced to endure shallow conversations about things that don't truly matter to you? It's tiring. And over time, that pressure builds. You start questioning if your needs, your energy, and your emotions even matter in a world so obsessed with constant connection. 1. You're an introvert. Expanded. Solitude has power, doesn't it? The quiet, the stillness, the way your mind stretches and wanders freely. For you, solitude isn't loneliness. It's liberation. It's not about avoiding people, but about returning to yourself. As an introvert, your soul craves depth over breadth. You don't want the fleeting highs of surface-level interactions. You want profound, soul-stirring conversations that rarely happen. But those are few and far between, aren't they? Most social exchanges bounce from topic to topic without ever touching anything meaningful. In fact, you can sometimes feel more connected to yourself and to your ideas in the silence of solitude than you do in a room full of people. Yet, society doesn't always understand this. There's this unspoken pressure to be outgoing, the life of the party. But when you're not, people wonder if something's wrong. They don't see the rich inner world that thrives within you. It's not that you don't value connection, you do. But when you're constantly being asked to conform to external expectations, it feels draining. You retreat, not from fear or disdain, but out of a need to protect your energy, your creativity, and the very core of who you are. Solitude isn't an escape from the world. It's a return to your authentic self. It gives you the space to recharge, reflect, and connect with your true desires. You can explore ideas, read, write, or simply rest, and in that stillness you find the clarity and energy you need to face the world again. 2. Trust issues. Expanded. Trust is fragile. Once it's broken, it's hard to rebuild. If you've been burned before, betrayed by a friend, hurt by a partner, or let down by a family member, you know the toll it takes. Trust issues aren't paranoia, they're survival instincts. The thought of opening up, of letting someone in again, feels like tempting fate. Imagine baring your soul to someone, only for them to twist your words and throw them back at you. It's not just painful, it's disorienting. But beyond that pain lies a deeper fear. What if this person hurts you the way others have before? Can you ever truly open yourself up to someone again without the risk of betrayal? This creates a barrier, one that you struggle to break down because the price of being wrong again feels too high. Trust is something earned over time. It's built with actions, not just words. It requires consistency and vulnerability from both sides. But until you find those rare individuals who prove, over time, that they're worth the risk, you will naturally keep your distance. It's okay to take your time with trust. It's okay to protect yourself while you seek the people who deserve your openness. Trust isn't freely given, it's earned. You have every right to demand that it be earned well. 3. Spending time with the wrong people. Expanded. Not all company is good company. Maybe you don't mind being around people, but not the wrong ones. The ones who drain you, frustrate you, or leave you feeling worse than you did before. You've met them. The endless talkers, the chronic complainers, the energy vampires who suck the life out of a room. Spending time with them feels less like socializing and more like emotional labor. It's draining, not fulfilling. You've sat across from someone who monopolizes the conversation, talking endlessly about themselves with no regard for how you're doing. Or worse, someone who wraps insults in compliments, leaving you confused about their true motives. These people can be incredibly toxic, even if they don't intentionally mean harm. Sometimes, just being in their presence can feel like you're carrying an emotional weight that doesn't belong to you. Over time, these experiences shape your view of socializing. It becomes linked with discomfort, awkwardness, or outright frustration. The feeling of being drained by others can create a cycle of avoidance, where you no longer want to put yourself in situations where you might be surrounded by people who don't respect your energy. The key is setting boundaries and recognizing that you don't have to tolerate negative energy in your life. You want solitude, not as a rejection of others, but as an embrace of your own well-being. It's about choosing peace over the drama, tranquility over the noise. Low self-esteem. Expanded. Sometimes it's not about the people around you, it's about how you feel about yourself. The nagging voice in your head telling you you're not enough, that you're not interesting enough, not worthy of their time. Outwardly, you may seem fine, maybe even confident. But beneath the surface, there's a storm of self-doubt. Every interaction feels like a minefield of judgment and rejection. You replay past conversations, scrutinizing every word, every pause. Did they think you were boring? Did they notice your awkward laugh? These thoughts spiral, and suddenly socializing feels like walking on a tightrope without a net. The fear of judgment becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you withdraw, the more isolated you feel. And the more isolated you feel, the harder it becomes to re-engage. It's a vicious cycle. But here's the truth. This narrative isn't you. It's a story your mind has told you so often that it feels real. But this story doesn't have to define you. It's important to recognize that the world isn't as judgmental as you think. People aren't analyzing your every word and movement. They're likely too focused on their own insecurities to scrutinize yours. By recognizing and challenging these negative self-perceptions, you begin the journey to healing. Small steps like positive affirmations, therapy, or talking with supportive friends can help dismantle these walls of self-doubt. Fifth, social anxiety. Expanded. Social anxiety isn't just shyness, it's a full-blown battle inside your head. Every interaction feels like an impending disaster. You're constantly running through worst-case scenarios. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I say nothing at all? What if they notice how awkward I am? The thought of socializing exhausts you before you even arrive. The truth is, social anxiety often comes from past experiences, moments of rejection or ridicule that have left lasting imprints. These memories resurface, becoming triggers that heighten your fear of judgment. The less you interact, the rustier your social skills become, and the more daunting the idea of socializing feels. It's a cruel cycle. But underneath this anxiety lies a truth. The world isn't as harsh as your inner critic would have you believe. Overcoming social anxiety is possible. It starts with small steps, challenging your fears, practicing self-compassion, and seeking support from those who understand. The more you practice stepping outside your comfort zone, the less control anxiety will have over you. With time, logically, you'll find that these situations aren't as terrifying as they once seemed. Conclusion. Expanded. At the heart of all of this is one undeniable truth. Your desire to avoid people isn't a simple aversion. It's a complex mosaic of experiences, emotions, and perceptions. Whether it's the need for depth, the scars left by toxic people, or the internal battles of self-esteem and anxiety, each reason tells a story. Your story. But solitude isn't inherently bad. It's where creativity blooms, where introspection takes place, where you reconnect with your essence. The key lies in balance, finding the courage to step into the world without losing yourself in it. So the next time someone questions your preference for solitude, remember this. It's not about avoiding people. It's about honoring yourself. And in a world that constantly demands your attention, that's a quiet act of rebellion worth celebrating. Call to action, CTA. If you resonate with any of these points, if you've ever struggled with being around people or felt drained by social situations, take a moment to reflect. understand that it's okay to prioritize yourself. And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more insights and discussions about personal growth and self-discovery.